Yeah. Chair, brothers and sisters, comrades, it's a pleasure that my National President John Leach, who's in the audience tonight, and myself are here, not just to have the great opportunity to have a few moments of Orlando's time, but as a union that helped sponsor this tour. Behind the comrade on the left-hand side there sums up to me what it's all about at the moment, the battle of ideas. Because there's a battle of ideas taking place in the world at the moment, one of global capitalism against the ideas of socialism. Now, why are we so pleased as a trade union that we've sponsored this tour of Orlando? Well, number one, we're supporters of Cuba, and to be honest with you, I don't really care less what happens in the elections on Friday and Sunday. The only thing I would say is, I find it a bit rich that the President of America says that now there's an opportunity to have free and democratic elections in Cuba, when his brother, the crook in Florida, only got him as a result of an undemocratic election. Secondly, I find it absolutely amazing that the British government said the other day that now there's an opportunity to get rid of political prisoners in Cuba, where it sat back and allowed political prisoners to be tortured in parts of Cuba, in Guantanamo Bay, which has been an absolute disgrace to working people throughout the land. I won't expect the Cuban people to put a blockade around Britain in the forthcoming elections that we have in this country. And I won't expect us to put a blockade around any other country if there was elections taking place. But what I would say is that the Cuban people should decide their own destiny. Just like the American people decide their own destiny, and other people should do as well. And how can they say they decide their own destiny when just 90 miles north of Cuba they're having a blockade put on them, and 90 miles south of the Key West they're exerting that influence there? And our position's pretty clear. Do you want a situation where you have money, wealth created in the favour of few, or do you want different things in life? But what we say is that Cuba, to us, because our rule book of our union is pretty clear, pretty concise. And the London Evening Standard, I'm sure everyone reads that and will believe that everything the London Evening Standard is true, will turn around and say that we're some kind of left-wing militant trade union, which, good, yeah, that's right. They got that part of it right, by the way. But the reality is that our rule book, enshrined for over 100 years, says that we're opposed to the capitalist system and we want a socialist order of society. It wasn't just because someone got round the table one night and said we just fancy putting those words in. They understood that you only can go so far under the trade union movement, e.g. regards to better pay, better conditions. But the old pioneers of the movement understood that in times of economic decline, the bosses will come back and take all those gains off you, and in times of economic, when we're on the move, we can exert better paying conditions. What they understood, the pioneers, over 100 years ago, which is even more relevant today, that unless you get a fundamental change in society, one built on the basis of need, one built on the basis of socialism, then in 100 years' time we'll still be arguing for the same things that we did 100 years ago. What the beacon is in Cuba is that someone stood up and said there's a different way. That we're not going to go down this route of homegrown capitalism. And that's what it boils down to. It boils down to greed. You know, it boils down when you see what's happening in Britain today regarding these energy prices. So therefore, the reason we're supporting this tour, we believe it's right to have an opportunity of having Orlando over here, speaking to people. And more importantly than that, we believe that what's taking place in Cuba is the opposite of the battle of ideas which is being pushed by imperialism, capitalism and big business. And it's part of the anti-capitalist movement. And what we say is that we need, for all the critics that people may have of Cuba, talking around and saying that we want to have a debate about their human rights, or a debate about their political system over there, the reality is that that little island, with few people, being squeezed in economically by the biggest power in the world, has for 49 years demonstrated that there's a different world. That's what is operating out there. And that's what we're proud of as a trade union in the RMT. is that we're proud that Cuba wants to spend money on constructing society rather than destructing society. Now, unfortunately, myself and the President have got our own speaking tour to go to tonight of other RMT members. But I'll tell you what, today will be a cherished day for our union, that we had someone with the ability and someone with that understanding of a revolutionary to fight back, and someone who is a revolutionary that can continue those ideas. You know, someone said to me once, you just can't be a communist, you've got to be a learn to be one. That's exactly right. You just can't go and get a book off the shelf and say, I'm a communist. But you can learn to be one. And I'll tell you something today. I've learnt a lot of a revolutionary here today. And I feel sorry for those people that never got involved in this tour because they said that he might be too sectarian. I mean, tell you what, those people that make these tours sectarian are the ones that don't want to get involved in it. They're the ones that are sectarian. So on behalf of our National President, on behalf of our union, we're proud to sponsor and continue in sponsoring the ideas. It's not what the person says, it's if what the person says is right or not. And that's why we pay tribute to Cuba, to the Cuban people, to the Cuban ambassador, who is the representative of Cuban people in Britain. Let's have them elections on Sunday, which has got nothing to do with us whatsoever, but whatever the democratic outcome of the Cuban people is that those people around the world should rally to whatever the decisions were. And viva Cuba, viva Fidel, and viva